Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me again. Today I'm going to talk about a brand new rifle I just put together, something new to me in both style, caliber, and type of rifle. I've shot them before, but I've never owned one, and that is the Fudd Cannon. Single shot, breech loaded rifle from Thompson Center Arms. This is a Thompson Center Encore with a Matchgrade Machine barrel on it. So I ordered the barrel from Matchgrade Machine. It's got a Picatinny rail on top. I think this is olive wood stock. I'm not really 100% sure if it's olive or laminate. It might be a laminate. It's got two different tones going on in the stock here. So it might be a laminate stock, but it's really cool. It's kind of an old school style Fudd rifle, if you want to call it that way, in that it's just a single shot, no detachable magazines, nothing crazy like that. This is old school, pure hunting rifle from the ground up, simple and clean and functional, and I love it. So let's get into it. This is completely new to me. Like I've shot them before, but I've never owned one. I've always wanted to own one of these. I've had this receiver, the frame here. It's a Thompson Center Encore Endeavor. I believe it started its life as a muzzle loader, I think. I acquired it when I was running an FFL, and I've not really done a whole lot of research on those since then. I haven't, put it together. It's just been sitting in a safe, but I decided on a whim to go ahead and get this thing barreled up with a Matchgrade Machine barrel. So it's a stainless barrel from Matchgrade Machine. It is a 24-inch barrel. So it's got the full burn length of what you need for most common calibers, while still being a little bit light and wieldy. It's not the lightest rifle in the world. This thing weighs about 7.5 pounds, and some of that's attributed to the wood stock. The barrel is an actual heavy profile. It's a heavy factory profile, and I didn't get a fluted one. I just went with a straight 24-inch non-fluted barrel. It is threaded 5/8 24 at the end, so if I want to put a suppressor on there, I can. If I want to put a muzzle brake or anything like that on there, I can. So the caliber will be named later, player to be named later here. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I went with a brand new caliber to me too, something that is geared towards Western hunting. So that'll be really exciting. I'm gonna have a lot more videos coming up on that soon once I start testing ammo and get reloading done. Waiting on a scope, obviously. This thing is kind of naked right now. I don't know exactly what type of scope I'm gonna put on it. I have one in the mail that I think will work for it. I don't know if it's gonna live there permanently, but so let's talk about some of the drawbacks and the benefits of a rifle like this, a single shot versus a bolt action, like a more modern bolt action rifle for hunting, or even something like a semi-automatic rifle. I'm gonna get into all that here in just a second, but I'm excited about this. This is a pretty looking rifle. I've got to paint it still. It's got a stainless barrel, which I'm actually gonna paint to match the receiver here, which is basically just flat dark earth. I think a solid tone will match this laminated stock pretty well. I think it's a laminated stock. It is wood, and I kind of want to say that it's a laminated wood stock, because the way that the grain is, like the layers here, the striations from the different levels here is all kind of perfect. So my guess is this is a laminated stock. Really beautiful. Come from Thompson Center Arms. There you go, look at that. You see the Thompson Center logo there. It's got a nice butt pad on the back end, which will actually help really well for the caliber I've got this thing chambered in. And while it is a Fudd style rifle, I kind of actually did go with a Fudd caliber too, come to think of it. And no, it's not a 30-06, but I did think about doing 30-06 in this thing just for the fun of it. I might get a 30-06 barrel for it in the future. That's the beauty of the Thompson Center Arms style of rifles, this single shot style. One of the main benefits, and I'll start this off with that, is that you can switch the barrels real easy. You can go from a shotgun to a black powder to a rimfire to a centerfire to all the things in this rifle with just a barrel swap. There's a bolt underneath here. If you're not familiar with the Thompson Center guns, Thompson Center was really popular, I guess, like 80s, 90s, that type of time frame. But then I don't know if they went out of business or what happened. They got bought. I think Springfield Armory bought them, something like that. Kind of went defunct, and the line just kind of dwindled. And so the last decade or so, they haven't really been popular. You haven't really been able to find them on the shelf, but Thompson Center, the original owners, did buy it back, and they're revitalizing the Thompson Center line of firearms, the Encores, all the above, the barrels, and they're coming up with a new bolt action too, from what I understand. So I'm really excited about that. I know a lot of the older gentlemen in my life that I've talked to, older hunters, my dad and people like that, they've shot these type of rifles in the past. They've had these type of rifles, and they really love them because of their pure singular purpose hunting reliability, honestly. Reliability and configurability. You can put different barrels on these things. All right, and that leads me into the next point here, the simplicity. A rifle like this is actually just really mechanically simple. You have no moving parts in the action, that kind of stuff, other than your triggers and stuff like that. It's just breech and barrel and trigger and, you know, that thing. What's that called? The hammer. And your stock. So it's a break action like this. You push down on it pops it open like that. See? There you go. You slide your bullet in there, close it back up, and off you go to firing line. It's real simple. I mean, mechanically, this is about as simple and robust as it gets. They're pretty robust. The only other comparable rifle that I have any experience with is the Ruger Model 1, and it's a break action breech loaded, you know, that basically a falling block falls down, breech opens, you put a new round in, put the lever back up, and life is good. So you have that benefit there, mechanical simplicity and rugged reliability in the field and stuff like that for functionality. Yes, it's a single shot, I get that. In today's modern world of, you know, Gucci whiz bang PRS style rifles and, you know, that tactical fetish, you know, sniper thing that everybody plays, you know, you got, you know, AICS magazines and all kinds of goofiness with chassis and all kinds of stuff going on with your rifles. Something like this is a little old school. Something like this is a little out of the norm. One of the main benefits that I've noticed right off the bat with this is overall length. This has a 24-inch barrel, and it comes in shorter than this Remington Model 700 I have here, which is my 308, and it has an 18-inch barrel. Okay, so this is a short action Remington Model 700, and the Thompson Center is an inch shorter. I don't know if y'all can see that, but the Thompson Center is actually an inch shorter than my shortest short action bolt action rifle with an 18-inch barrel. So this has that full 24-inch barrel, and it is 1 full inch shorter than my 308 here, which is the stubbiest 308 I have. It actually comes on par, almost identical in length to something like this. This is an SPR, special purpose rifle, Mark 12 Mod O style. It has an 18-inch barrel on it with a A2 flash hider, that kind of thing, and the standard A2 length buttstock. So this rifle and the Thompson Center are exactly the same length. And that is wild because this thing is running a 24-inch barrel, meaning with most calibers, especially the caliber I chose, you're gonna get all the burn you need out of your powder supply. The one drawback in comparison directly to something like a bolt action is it's single round. I mean, it's single shot. You don't have a magazine with which to load from. It does take a little bit more patience and practice to get, you know, bang, reload, back on target, you know what I mean? It's something you could practice for and do really, really well if you put some time in with it and just spend that practice on the range, you know, getting your reps in with loading ammo. And where are you going to keep them? Do you keep them on the stock? Do you keep them on a wrist guard thing? Do you keep them on your belt or on a bandolier or something like that? So that's going to take, for me, a little bit more, I guess you could say, planning and practice to what I'm used to, because I'm used to either magazine fed AICS style or AR-15 style rifles where you can just, and life is good, you got more bullets going on. Obviously with the bolt action, if you're out in the field and you have to take follow-up shots and you have multiple, even if you're doing an BDL style, you know, smooth bottom metal with no external box magazine, you can still handle 3 to 5 rounds on average with most rifles. So you've got all that loaded in there already, and you can just rack a new round in and off you go. So something like this, when you're in a hunting scenario, make the first shot count. You know, that's my, you know, my goal as a hunter and as a shooter is like making that first shot count and being as certain and confident as I can right off the bat. And, you know, the need for follow-up shots may be negligible at that point. However, with something like this, if you do have to do a follow-up shot, you know, it just takes practice. It's a repetition, it's getting on the range, it's finding your system out, like where are you gonna keep your rounds. I'm probably gonna get a saddle for this one, get a nice leather saddle that will match this kind of old school style rifle look, and pop a couple few rounds in there, and you know, bang, you take a shot, you break the action, throw this new one in, and you're back in the, you know, game before too long. You're only adding a few seconds to your actual reload time if you get it down really well. Another main benefit of a rifle like this, the Thompson Center, is caliber selection. I mean, you have almost an endless caliber supply for your rifle if you just get new barrels for it. You can set up multiple barrels for the same receiver because it's all, this is your serialized part right here, this guy. and one big bolt underneath your handguard here is all that holds it together. I mean, they're really, really simple to put together. I personally don't see any reason not to invest in multiple types of calibers over the years if you've already got a receiver like this. They're a little, I guess, less available now than they used to be, but they are kind of starting to make a comeback. The actual, you know, Encore style receivers is the Encore. So the Contender is a pistol version of Thompson Centers, like their pistol, and I'm not like an expert on Thompson Center, so, but the Encore is the rifle version, and from what I understand, you can do shotgun barrels in this, you can do black powder, you can do centerfire cartridges, all those good things. So you have a massive amount of cartridges to choose from in one rifle package. And it's a much easier barrel swap than doing something like this. I mean, I know there's a lot of bolt action switch barrel systems going on out there these days, like it's kind of new to the culture in the market, is that type of thing, which is really awesome as well. And there are some great, you know, bolt action receivers that you can get barrel swaps into really, really quick. But I think something like this is probably still a little bit easier and a little bit more manageable just from tooling perspectives and all those things, and you don't have to do, you know, go no go gauges and all those good things. You just need to throw the barrel on there because it's one complete housing. So the you know, your chamber is your barrel, is your you know, linchpin, and all those things that made the whole system up. Oh, and we forgot the unboxing video. Here's there's the box. It was in a box. There it is, unboxed. Ta-da! So the caliber, let's talk about the caliber. I went with a 280 Ackley Improved in this rifle. It's not a caliber I've ever shot before, but I'm kind of in my 7mm phase. So I went with the 280 Ackley Improved, which is kind of a FUD caliber. It's been around since the 1960s-ish when P.O. Ackley took the 280 Remington and Ackleyized it. So basically just blew out the shoulders of a 280 Remington, blew them out a little bit, and popped it up to that 40-degree shoulder angle. Added a little more case capacity and volume for shooting the same type of bullets, so you can get, you know, easily 100% feet per second, or 100 feet per second faster in a 280 Ackley than you can in 280 Remington, but it will also still shoot 280 Remington, this will, if you can't find brass. Now 280 Ackley is kind of an eclectic cartridge, but this is kind of an eclectic rifle. So I think the two just made it and matched up really well for that. You can find it on the shelves. I have been looking around locally at the 280 Ackley stockpile availability at the gun stores in the area I live in, and it's decent. It's not great, but you can find it on the shelves. In every gun store I've gone in so far, they have something in 280 Ackley. So I've gotten a couple boxes that I'm going to try out, some Federal Terminal Ascent, and I'm going to try out some Hornady 162 ELDX, and then I'm going to try out some of the Burger stuff 168s they have. And the difference being in the 280 Ackley versus my 7 PRC, I'm going to do a full versus video, 280 versus 7 PRC, and I'm going to line them up side by side, and I'm going to shoot and look at velocities and see what the benefit is of something like this versus my bigger gun, the 7 PRC, which is a little bit, supposedly a little bit faster with a little bit heavier bullets. But I don't know, I've been looking at some of the reloading data and some of the information people have for reloading this stuff, and it looks like you can get that 280 Ackley pretty darn close in velocities to the 7 PRC with very comparable bullets, or at least heavier bullets, heavier for caliber 7mm bullets, that will make this thing a true long-range rig. Like absolutely long-range, western hunting, big game, elk, all of the above, a really great all-around cartridge. The difference being is that the 280 Ackley here, it's got that standard 308 bolt face, so it's a little bit smaller, you know, longer and smaller cartridge and whatever, and so you have less powder, obviously, and less kick, you know, less recoil. So it might be something just, and this is theory because I've not shot the 280 Ackley before, it might be something a little more enjoyable for a smaller statured shooter to use for taking elk and that type of game, you know what I mean, but still having all the meat and penetration you need of a 7mm going really fast, you know, and that 160 to 175 grain weight is what I'm shooting for. I'm going to do some reloading later, but I'm going to test factory ammo first. So that's where we're going to go with this, and we're going to see how it turns out. Oh, last thing I'll mention is the weight on this thing. If you get a pencil barrel, I can see how this system overall would be a very, very lightweight system. This is coming in at 7.5 pounds, just like it is right now. So without a scope, it's 7.5 pounds. If you put the right type of scope on it, which I'm probably going to go for a lighter scope, I'm going to try to keep it under 10 pounds, maybe shoot for that 9-pound range. That would be really nice. So it's a little on the heavier side of what you might think of for a mountain rifle, but you get all the benefits of that really thick, heavy barrel, tapered barrel there. so far as reliability, accuracy, repeatability, and cooling and all that good stuff. So we're gonna see if the theories hold true on this. I'm gonna see how accurate it is. I'm gonna get it to the range. I gotta get some paint on this bad boy first. So we're gonna paint this bad boy up, get my scope on it, kind of finalize and make sure everything's tweaked and tuned and all that good stuff. And then I'm excited to get out to the range and start putting some rounds through this thing, because these Thompson Center Encores have a reputation for accuracy, for extreme accuracy, for accuracy that is maybe a little bit easier to get than it is with a bolt action, something like that. And that is just, I think, has to do with the simplicity of the bore action chamber situation here, like the lineup and all those things. You're not reliant on a bolt, bolt face that has to be trued and tuned to match up with the breech and all those things. It's simple. It's just, I mean, that's it. That's where the bullet goes, right there, right in the back. See that? That's it. There's no other moving parts. Like, you just, and you're there and you're ready to go, and the bolt's in a solid, stable position. I don't know how accuracy is affected with the actual handguard here, because the handguard's screwed to the actual barrel. So you have screws going in the bottom here. So your handguard is part of the barrel situation. So I don't know if that affects accuracy or not. I mean, because it is independent of the actual receiver. So the handguard is not attached to the receiver. It's attached to the barrel. So I don't know. These things have a reputation for extreme accuracy, and I'm going to test it out and see how it goes. And then if I don't like it, I will. My dad really wants one of these, so maybe I'll give it to him, but or I'll just keep it forever because I love it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. 7mm 280 Ackley improved in the Thompson Center Encore with a Matchgrade Machine barrel. Okay, let's hit on that real quick. Matchgrade Machine, company up in Ogden, Utah. They kind of specialize in these type of barrels for the Encores and stuff like that. I've not used them before. Have y'all used them? I haven't. The threading on this thing is really crisp and clean. I'm looking at the threading here for their 5/8/24. It's very precise. The machining is really well done on this gun, on this barrel, from what I can tell. I mean, I was looking at the bore and stuff like that, and it's just super clean. So, they have a good reputation as well. I think that between the marriage of the two, we could have us a really good shooter, but we won't know until we get to the range. So let's do that. Let's get this thing painted up. I'm gonna get the glass on it, and we're gonna get to the range, and we're gonna start shooting this old school Bud cannon. All right, thank y'all for joining me again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all those good things. If you have one of these, I wanna hear about it. What is your experience with the Thompson Center firearms, with the Encores? I'm curious, I'm very curious. I've had this sitting around for a while, and I wanted to pull the trigger on it, pun intended. So I finally did, and I'm pretty excited about it. What do you got so far as information for me? Go ahead and put it in the comments below. What are your experiences? What do you like about them? What do you not like about them? All those good things. All right, y'all be good. Keep your knife sharp, keep your powder dry, and keep your magazines loaded, or at least a bandolier close to hand, because this doesn't take magazines. So, good, old school bandolier, pocket, something. I don't know. Y'all be blessed.